Hello everyone, it's May, the sun is out, there's white wine in the glass. Let's talk about the Cellar series. I'm excited. Alright Nick, let's do this. So, like I said, it's a beautiful day out here. About a month ago we were down by the river. And I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of miserable. The sun was out, but it was blowing wind like crazy. It was cold. It wasn't that nice. But we had some beautiful wines back then, and we've got another set of 6 really, really lovely wines that we're gonna get into here. So May for the shop is really a big transition. The front doors are open. Mike Thomas is wearing shorts. It's really, really lovely. So let's get into this season with some new wines. We are going to start off with, kind of 3 different, white wines and 3 different red wines. Everything is primarily kind of old world centric right here, with the exception of a really, really exciting kind of new wine to the shop, which we'll kind of just jump into right now. So let me grab my notes. This is Tim Fulcani, and this is his kind of project called Mr. Brightside. And Mr. Brightside, is kind of the brainchild of this one man who's focusing on Gamay. And, people who kind of get into Gamay are kind of like a wine geek, I guess I would say. The grape offers up, primarily these really lovely red wines, primarily from Beaujolais, that are light and bright, but can reach great concentration, but are never heavy. They're always kind of just these lively wines, which I love drinking. So this is a kind of rare, white wine from Gamay. It's a Gamay Noir Blanc from 2022. And yeah, this is the first time we've ever worked with a Gamay Blanc, which is exciting for us. So 490 cases made. Not many come to the state of Minnesota, but we were able to kind of latch on to a handful of them for this feature. It's all single vineyard wine, practicing organic, not certified, but kind of doing all the right things at the right times. And how they're making the wine, I guess, is that it's very, very quick press. Because how do you make white wine from red grapes? Well, they do it in Champagne. They do it kind of all over the place in certain wine styles. But for this particular application, the red grapes come into the vineyard, from the vineyard into the winery, and are pressed immediately. Like very, very gentle pressing. And that's where the magic is. You're really just extracting the most pure expression of the juice without taking all of the polyphenolics and the colors from the grape skins. So you really kind of have to work quick. But so what they do is they let it sit in stainless steel barrels for 6 months on its lees, and that will also kind of create kind of more depth and richness. A lot of white wines are kind of really quick to bottling. They're bottled right around the first of the year and sent to markets, a couple weeks later. But that extra couple months really kind of allows for more depth and more kind of just richness. So it's pretty zippy. This is where we're starting here, but it is bright and fresh. But there's this really lovely quality to it, kind of a little stroke of texture, a little bit of ripe fruits. I mean, it's from Arroyo Seco. It's from California. It has plenty of California sunshine as part of the deal, which is nice. So, and just to kind of, as we move away from this, like I said, this is kind of our one token New World wine, but it also is that kind of fun and fresh style where the next wines get a little bit more kind of serious. So let's jump into those. Moving, from California, we're going to Friuli, and especially to the Collio. And in particular, we're spending time with Livio Faluga here. Livio Faluga is really one of the great champions or ambassadors of wines from Friuli and from the Collio. As a reminder, where we are, we're north and east of Venice. We're about 20 miles north of the very kind of northern tip of the Adriatic Sea, kind of ramping up into the Julian Alps. So you're in these vineyards, and when you go to the top of the forest, you see the snow-capped Alps to the north and to the northeast, and to the south you see the northern Adriatic. So it's just this amazing zone for grape growing, and this is their Friulano. So Friulano used to be called Tokai, and in fact, when you're visiting there, and we visited there about a month and a half ago now, everybody still calls it Tokai. But by law, the European Union said, no, Tokai is actually this place in Hungary. You guys have to start calling it Friulano. So that's what they've been doing. how does it taste? Like, how are they making the wine? So they are making the wines in a similar style. 6 months in stainless steel. Lots of kind of freshness involved, but Friulano as a grape offers up a little bit more kind of texture, a little bit more weight, kind of just building here. So I had a bottle of this with my wife in Venice, kind of late at night. It was after seeing something at the theater, and we had this amazing bottle. I was like, wow, it was great. And we came home, we said, is it available to us? And they said no. But the importer here and the distributor here kind of made it available, and we were super thrilled after we tasted the bottle again to just kind of say, yeah, like this wine is exactly how I remembered it. It's fantastic. So I hope you enjoy it. So going from Italy to the Greek islands, primarily of Santorini, this is Domaine Sigalas. And Domaine Sigalas is kind of the brainchild of this man named Paris Sigalas, who in 1991 made his kind of debut with this grape called Assyrtiko. And Assyrtiko has become kind of a darling of the wine world for that kind of like very mineral and crisp, like Mediterranean style wine. And the island of Santorini is very rocky. It's basically one big rock with very little water, and makes these kind of penetratingly mineral wines. This is 50% Assyrtiko from the island of Santorini, and then it's 50% this grape called Monembasia from this island that's 40 miles north of there, which they just go get with a boat and they bring it back with a boat. And it's an island called Paros. So these vines are some of the oldest kind of continuously farmed vineyard sets anywhere in the world. That Eastern Mediterranean area has kind of a long claim to these really really wonderful old vineyards. So so this is the third vintage of this particular blend from Paris. And the best way to think of it is it brings plenty of texture and plenty of weight. Yeah, there is some acidity from that Assyrtiko, but the Monembasia brings so much like fleshy character to it. But it's not oaked. There's it's all like pure extract, which is really exciting for me. There's ways to gussy up white wines, but the best way to do it is just to have really, really powerful expressions coming from the vineyard. And that's exactly what's going on here. So Domaine Sigalas, really, really one of the great white wines anywhere in the Mediterranean. So. Okay, so moving on to Rossignol Février. This is a brand new producer for us, brand new Burgundy, and they're a producer in Volnay. Very, very small producer. And I'll kind of start with just, our good friend Tom Lloyd brought a sample bottle to the shop maybe 3 weeks ago or something like that. And it was here on a Friday night, and I was pouring it around for a couple customers. And when two customers off the same bottle both ordered cases from a sample bottle, it was kind of like, all right, yeah, this wine is pretty damn good. I get that too. And so we had to wait a few weeks, but I knew right away that we were going to feature that. So we kind of locked up a handful of cases, and we're kind of jazzed about it. So let's tell you about this producer since it's new to us. We're kind of learning together. So it's a 1920 estate bottler. They farm 7.5 hectare, all biodynamically farmed. The fermentation is all stainless steel, and then it goes into old wood. And spends about a year in old wood. They do punch downs and a little bit of stem inclusion. So when you taste this Pinot Noir, you can feel it right away. There's just more going on to it. It's not this light and bright Pinot. I love those too. Those are great, like for July and August. But this has plenty of depth to it. It has a secondary component to the nose, so a little bit of that earthy quality to it, with lots of really, really rich. Kind of red and black fruit on the palate. So sometimes just those regional like Bourgogne Pinot Noirs can be awesome, especially in this price point, because we all know how expensive Burgundy's getting, and this is still a way to play ball without kind of like spending an arm and a leg. So moving back to Greece. So this is the first time we've ever featured two Greek wines in a Cellar series, and I don't know, I'm not surprised. Like the wines that we're tasting from Greece and from the specialty Greek wine importers, they've been amazing. We've been really, really excited about them. They feel a lot like the great Italian wines that we work with. Sometimes they feel like Burgundy at times. But let's kind of jump into this one. So this is from an area called Rapsani, and the wine is called Terra Petra. And it's from this winemaker named Apostolos Thimiopoulos. And I've just come to realize like how much of a rock star this guy is in northern Italy. I'm sorry, northern Greece. They're right in kind of the foothills of Mount Olympus, and this area is oftentimes known as Nauza, but he has kind of played outside of the appellation, and he makes amazing blends from this grape called Zinamavro, Crasato, and Stravotto. It's 50% in Zinamavro, and that's kind of the takeaway. That grape variety in this northern kind of reach of Greece starts to act a lot like Nebbiolo. It can start to act a lot like Pinot Noir. So it's a medium-bodied red wine. It's not heavy in any way, but man, there is just this current of energy running through this wine that you can completely tell that it is very, very like well made from very high quality fruit. So 14 months in large oak barrels, stainless steel fermentation, again, all unfined and filtered. Pretty special wine. One of those wines we tasted a month ago and we're just like, yeah, easy. Like this is a no-brainer Cellar Series wine. It is adventurous, it is delicious, and it is something new that keeps me excited, and I'm so excited to pass it on. So enjoy that wine. Finishing up in Chianti Classico, one of my favorite wine regions anywhere in the world. In the world of Tuscan wines, like I just adore Chianti. A lot of people get really excited about Montalcino, the wines from Brunello di Montalcino, Montepulciano, Carmignano. There are other great areas there, like Chianti Classico has it all. This is a producer called Carpinetto, and this is their 2015 Gran Selezione. And Gran Selezione is kind of like top tier for like if you play by the rules. There's always like La Pergola Torte and Ceparello, which are great wines from the Chianti Classico zone that historically have never really wanted to associate themselves with Chianti Classico. But there's Chianti Classico, Chianti Classico Reserva, and then Chianti Classico Gran Selezione, like the top of the line. So normally an $80 bottle of wine, and we have it for $39.99 as part of this set. Like it's an amazing, amazing deal. And we were kind of worried, like, God, it's kind of expensive wine to get in there, but like we had to kind of work this wine. It is so good. So 100% Sangiovese, 18 months in Barrique, again unfined, unfiltered, very high up in Greve, very high elevation in this village called Duda, and they've been farming here since 1967. So just amazing Sangiovese, which is near and dear to my heart. That is May. This is the start of your I don't know, it kind of feels like the start of summer almost, but like let's just kind of enjoy spring for the day. They're available tomorrow. It's about $155, before tax and after the 20% discount, but man, an amazing, amazing value. I hope to see you guys in the shop. Enjoy your weekend, enjoy this spring, and start drinking some more wine.